Joining me right now on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline is the man, the myth, the legend, Dizz of At Talk MMA. My friend, how you doing on this Saturday?
I'm good, man. You sound amped today. You sound like you have an energy about yourself today. Well, is there something new in your diet?
No.
Well, that was a boring answer. Okay. Thanks for playing along there, Josh.
I'm not very good at following, so.
Right. You couldn't add something in there like a new protein shake or a steak or anything like that. No.
Well, I'm excited to give away. I got all of these 4-packs of blackjacks versus soul tickets for the game tonight. So
segue. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, people have been texting in throughout the show their name, where they're from, what's on their mind this weekend, and they're all in the running to win these. I actually had more than I thought I did, so that's pretty exciting.
Well, I'll tell you what's on my mind tonight. We got a pretty decent card tonight for UFC 39. We got some new school. We got some old school. A lot of old school on the card tonight. So, especially with John Jones, he's facing somebody very new school. And we got two old schools in the co-main event. And it looks like we've got Miami's Jesus coming in today to fight Ben Askren. And, Luke Rockhold on the card, debuting at light heavyweight.
Speaking of old school, Diego Sanchez.
Old school Diego Sanchez. We're talking like if you saw him at the weigh-ins or at the media day where they were facing off, that was the Diego of old. He was giving the good old Diego Sanchez stare down to Michael Chiesa.
Yeah, he looked a little bit more nightmare than anything else there.
Nightmare is exactly it. And then on the preliminary card for ESPN, you've got Gilbert Melendez returning. Not had a very good stint in the UFC since his Strikeforce days, but, got him coming back. If you want women's action, Claudia Gadelha and Randa Marcos, which is a barn burner fight tonight. They're both firecrackers. It's a great card tonight.
Before we give our picks, I just wanted to give a little bit of perspective. John Jones and Amanda Nunes are making this case. John could become the greatest men's MMA fighter ever. Amanda, the greatest women's fighter, if they're not both already that as well. Just give the audience a little context about, how incredible both of these fighters are, not just compared to their contemporaries, but in the history of the sport. Because I think people don't realize, we're watching history right now. We're watching two fighters who are not just the best in the game right now, but they are so far beyond even the people who have come before them.
All right. And we got to think about who they're facing tonight, too. I'm not so worried about John Jones' event. The big sell to this fight has been Thiago Santos. His opponent tonight is a big-time hitter, awesome KO power and this and that. And, yeah, in his last three fights versus, Jan Blachowicz and Jimmy Manawa, Eric Anders, he's had TKO stoppages or, one-punch KO. But he also got stopped by David Branch, just last year. We're talking like barely a year ago. Or barely 2 years ago. It was last year. April 2018. He got stopped by David Branch. And when have we ever seen John Jones stopped? The only time we've ever even really seen John Jones even touched was the first fight with Alexander Gustafsson back in the day when John Jones was, still basically a baby.
And let's not forget that fight with David Branch was at 185. Talk about a 185er cracking you and knocking you out. It's not like he got cracked by a dude who's at 205. So you could argue, I'm not trying to diminish it. Look, he has his opportunity for this fight. He's on a 3-fight winning streak at 205. But like you said, he hasn't been cracked yet at 205.
He hasn't been cracked yet, but let's look at John Jones though. He's Thiago Santos is the guy who's supposed to be doing the cracking tonight. But then again, so was Alexander Gustafsson.
Yep.
So was Daniel Cormier.
Mm-hmm.
So was hard hitter Oven St. Preux. So
Glover Teixeira, don't forget about that.
Yeah, Vitor Belfort. He was knockout power. Quentin Jackson. You can go down the list. Who's ever touched him other than that one fight years ago with Alexander Gustafsson in their first fight, which was, I don't even know, what was that, like 2012, 2013?
2013, yeah.
Who's touched him? nobody has touched John Jones. He's always been good about using his length, using his cage IQ to avoid damage. I don't think that's going to change tonight. In fact, I'm confident that that's not going to change tonight. I think tonight, and I know I should probably, be a good sport and help sell this card, but the card should basically sell itself. And if I think the more intrigue tonight would be Amanda Nunes and Holly Holm, especially with Holly Holm coming in at 133.5 pounds yesterday. Tremendous shape. But we'll get to that in a moment. But I'm not as intrigued about John Jones versus Thiago Santos tonight. Nothing about this fight gets me.
Well, I'll tell you what the intrigue is. It's like I just said earlier. You have a chance to see history tonight. And I think we undervalue what it's like. Like, guys like you and me, we saw Jordan. Right? We saw Jordan in his prime, 6 rings, 6 times. Like, you don't always appreciate it as much in the moment as you do after the fact. And I think John Jones, I don't think fully appreciate what he is doing right now as we're going to 15, 20 years from now.
I like the Jordan comparison there, but not only did Jordan just win 6 rings, he just decided to win 3. He took 2 years off and came back and won 3 again. So basically 6 in a row.
Yeah.
So, he took 2 years off. He went to go play some baseball and, smoke cigars by the beach. So
Jones took off because of, basically using illegal drugs. So it's the same thing, right?
Of course. He had some issues.
Yeah.
We have Picogate. So, but tonight when I look at the over-exaggerated look, like the over-exaggerated "I'm gonna kill you" look on Thiago Santos's face, at stare downs, I'm just kind of, so Jones is gonna tool this guy too. But yeah, to add on to his record, nonetheless. Yeah,
you mentioned Nunes versus Holm. This is going to be an absolutely incredible fight. You have a woman in Amanda Nunes. She hasn't lost since 2014. She's got 2 belts now. You got Holly Holm. She's the former 135-pound champion. She went on a losing streak, but you could argue part of that losing streak was probably coming for her because she was still so new to the sport herself after she beat Ronda Rousey. So this arguably could be a lot of leather thrown, and one of these girls I think is getting knocked out.
I got to be honest with you. When's the last time we've even seen Amanda Nunes in trouble? I can't really recall.
Kat Zingano when she lost last.
Right, but that was, like I said, that how long ago was
5 years ago.
5 years ago, 2014. I mean, we're now looking at an 8-fight win streak. She's gone the distance twice in her fights on that 8-fight win streak.
Yep.
Twice. She doesn't have a lot
against the same fighter, by the way.
Yes, Valentina Shevchenko, who's murdering people at 125. But now we also have, I said it in a tweet, just right before, just the week of the fight, that Amanda's KO power is very underrated. She destroyed Raquel Pennington. She destroyed Ronda Rousey. And she destroyed somebody who everybody thought was the destroyer, the prime destroyer in Chris Cyborg.
She wrecked her.
Did it in under a minute. So we're talking her beating Holly Holm tonight. She's got a tough challenge tonight in Holly Holm. Holly Holm's background is in kickboxing. She's got great hands. She's already shown it. She's got a great straight left. She's got a great high kick. And she's kind of annoying when she throws those punches because she seems to key eye on each one of them.
Yep.
And that could be distracting. It could be a little annoying. And when I say annoying, not just to me, but maybe even to the fighter. Maybe that could be something that throws them off inside the cage. And so now she's also a cardio machine.
Yep.
Greg Jackson always has, I can't remember the last time I saw a Greg Jackson fighter tired.
You can't. Because it's their camp specialty.
It is their specialty, and that's what's pushed a lot of mediocre fighters through out of his camp. Yep. So, and now we have, I'm going to have to say that when I think about it, it would be wise for Holly Holm to avoid the power. She's going to have to circle to Amanda Nunes' left, avoiding that big right hand, make her reach with it. and she's going to have to counterpunch effectively, and she's going to have to drag this thing into the later rounds.
UFC 239 tonight on pay-per-view. Dizz of @TalkMMA on Twitter joining me on the Ball Wakanda hotline. All right, let's get some rapid-fire picks before I get you out of here. I assume we're both picking John Jones?
I'm definitely going with John Jones tonight. I think he stops him in the third round.
Nunes home. Who you got?
You know, my head says Holly Holm. My heart's with Amanda Nunes because I love the streak that she's on. Holly's wildly inconsistent, gets in her own head. She also just went through a divorce here over the last couple of years, had some issues. Maybe those have been ironed out. We're not sure yet. So we don't know where her personal problems have been, if they've been fully straightened out yet. I'm going to go with my heart tonight, and I'm going to say Amanda Nunes stops her. And I think I don't know if this is Holly Holm's first stoppage. I think she has one submission loss, I believe.
Yeah, one submission loss.
So,
she's never lost by TKO or KO.
I kind of want to say that Jorge Masvidal might upset Ben Askren. There's just something about the chip that's on his shoulder right now that I think Ben Askren thinks he's in Jorge Masvidal's head. I'm not convinced. I think Masvidal, he's gangster, dude. He is completely gangster. And, punching Leon Edwards in the back after an interview while in London. In London, where Leon Edwards is from. He went into your backyard and he gave you 3-piece and a soda right there in the backyard.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. If anybody out there wants to bet in this area, we can bet with sports betting. Masvidal, the last time I checked, was a plus 205. That might be a great value bet tonight because I think Askren's a little too high on himself coming into this fight. He
may be, but Askren's always been high on himself, and then he comes out on the bright end of the tunnel.
Usually.
And for that reason, because of Askren's experience, he's got world experience.
Sure.
I think Ben Askren's probably going to take this tonight. He might. I don't think he's going to do it by submission. It's going to have to be a 3-round decision, I believe, with Masvidal.
All right, real quick. I got to hit the break here. So who do you got? Rockhold? Yes, no?
I think Rockhold wins it.
Is Thiago Sanchez or Michael Chiesa?
Michael Chiesa has been looking good at 170. He beat my boy Carlos Condit. Diego Sanchez has been on the decline forever, and I wish he would retire. I'm going to have to go with Michael Chiesa.
Do you have a value pick for the prelims?
Yes. I'm going to go with Marlon Vera. I'm going to go with Claudia Gadela. And I'm going to go with Gilbert Melendez. I'm going to think it might be his swan song. I'm not sure.
Melendez is a great value pick, plus 310. You can make a lot of money there.
Yes. And I'm just not confident. I'm not confident. I haven't seen anybody that Alan Arnold has beaten that I'm impressed with.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he's that impressive in general. No offense to him, but...
Yeah, well, it is what it is, man.
Follow him on Twitter @TalkMMA for all of your UFC MMA news. Not just the UFC, but the PFL and Bellator. He's breaking news left and right. He is the man, the myth, the legend. Dizz, again on Twitter @TalkMMA. Talk to you again, my friend.
Hey, watch for that UFC and the Pearls at the Palm announcement here soon. It's going to happen.
There it is. Follow on Twitter @TalkMMA for all that breaking news.